Togozani Royals, how is everyone doing? I hope everybody is doing well. Good evening, good evening. I am here with our continued discussion on melanin. We're going to talk about melanin once again. We started our conversation on melanin and we are now on melanin part 3. So I'm going to get right into it. Please tap the screen as you come in just to make sure we get up in the algorithm. This video, by the way, will be recorded, downloaded, and uploaded onto YouTube. I will have pictures of a lot of what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try very hard not to make it too technical. So, because I guess for those who are listening without pictures, if I make it too technical, then you're going to get lost. So I do encourage you to go and watch it when it's uploaded with the images and the pictures, because pictures is everything. And one thing about us as the Black family, we learn through images. That is why many of us had a hard time learning things in school, because if there were no images, we have the kind of brain where images are imprinted, and once we see something in a visual form, most of us hardly ever forget it. So I do encourage you, because this is going to get a little too sciencey, to go and see the pictures that I'm going to place in this video so that you can get a better understanding. So let's get into it, family. The last time we spoke about melanin, we spoke about melanin sort of in general and melanin in the skin. And in the second one, we talked about how you can damage your melanin and what the repercussions of damaging that system that creates melanin in your skin, what those repercussions are. So I just wanted us to do a quick recap. And so one of the things in ancient times, one of the most ancient symbols is the black dot. And the black dot was supposed to represent the black seed. So literally when I say the black dot, and you'll see it in the picture, it is just a black dot. And that dot represented the black seed from which all creation emanated. That is an ancient Kemetic symbol that was used a lot by ancient scientists who studied this phenomena of creation, this phenomena of carbon. And so there was, the black dot literally became something that was revered because of its mysteries. The study of the black dot, and then in the context of the primordial waters of Nun, or the carbon soup from which we all came, all being represented by this black dot. So I wanted us to take our conversation from there and look at the fact that this black dot is said to be found present in everything that has ever been created, and that it has memory. What is this black dot? It really is carbon. And melanin is created from multiples of carbon, right? And we said carbon is a molecule that has 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons, which is where that 666 that has been so demonized comes from, right? So they call it the mark of the beast. So, well, I guess we know who the beast is then. So now let's look at this. I want us to look at the different types of melanin that exist so that you guys get a better understanding that it's not just one type of melanin, right? There are different types of melanin. The melanin that is most dominant in melanated beings, that gives us the tone that we have, is called eumelanin. Eumelanin. Eumelanin spelled E-U-M-E-L-A-N-I-N. Eumelanin. The process of making melanin starts out the same in all species that contain melanin. And then it branches out at a certain time, and then eumelanin is formed in people like us. And I will explain what predetermines what melanin someone has. Then there is what is called pheomelanin. And pheomelanin is that which is found in the ones who are the ones who I'm trying to find a way of saying this without triggering this thing to block me. So it is found in the ones who are not melanated like us. And it is also what this God, guys, I'm laughing. This pheomelanin is what determines the sort of hair that they have as well. Whereas with us, with the eumelanin, it's what determines the kind of hair that we have as well. So what all determines what melanin someone has? Well, genetics for one, right? So genetics will show that certain people will have eumelanin and certain people will have the other melanin. Okay, there is a third melanin called neuromelanin, and we're going to talk at length about neuromelanin when we start talking about the melanin centers in the brain and how they are connected to the pineal gland. And that's where we really start to talk about the spirituality or the spiritual aspects of these things. One thing that our ancient ancestors or ancient scientists knew is that the presence of this eumelanin in us gave us a certain ability over other groups in terms of cosmic connection, in terms of being able to connect with the cosmos. And we understand this now through the videos that I've done prior, where we talk about the sun and the importance of the sun, number one, in stimulating melanin, and number two, in activating certain processes using melanin within our bodies. Because remember, the more sunlight we get, the more melanin we produce in the skin. Now, in the skin, where is melanin produced? Melanin is produced in cells that are called melanocytes. These are cells that sit within the skin, not in the upper epidermis, but in the basal layer of the skin. And when this eumelanin is produced, it is then stored in little organelles called melanosomes. And it is from these melanosomes that it is then taken out back to certain cells in the body to be converted into products or hormones or whatever else that those particular cells require in order for the whole body to function optimally. So, for example, melatonin is produced from melanin, right? It's very important to understand that. That's why I say messing with your melanin system is detrimental to your overall health, because it's not just going to affect one aspect of you. It's going to affect several aspects of you because of the fact that melanin is used as a base molecule for the production of other molecules that the body needs. And it gets transported in these melanosomes from the basal layer of the cells to the places in the body where it is required. I hope that makes some sort of sense, right? So now I said neuromelanin is found in the brain. We're going to deal with that one when the time comes for us to deal with it. So we've said what predisposes or what determines what melanin. What determines what melanin one has? Number one is genetics. Number two, it's hormones. Some people will produce less melanin than others because even with us who have eumelanin, you find that we have different skin tones, right? We have those who are like what I call the beautiful, rich, dark, blue-black almost. Then we have very dark brown. Then we have those who have certain versions of caramel, all the way to those who have almost a honey-toned skin. What determines the amount of melanin, and it's all eumelanin, by the way, produced by different individuals. Number one, I said genetics. And number two is two particularly important hormones. One is called melanocyte stimulating hormone, meaning it's a hormone that stimulates the melanin producing cells to produce this melanin. And the other one is called adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. Those two hormones are very important in determining how much eumelanin somebody is going to produce in their body. So somebody like me, and by the way, guys, I'm not this pale. This is a filter. I've told you guys that I use filters when I do my videos late and I can't be bothered with makeup. Like, guys, I cannot be bothered. And so just to look a little presentable, I will very often come on here and slap on a filter. But I still am not very like rich skin toned, if you know what I mean. So what you'll find is in somebody like me, I probably produce less of the melanocyte stimulating hormone and less of the adrenocorticotropic hormone, right? That's probably what's happening. There's also probably a genetic predisposition. And so across the melanated being spectrum, we have a broad and vast array of shades of what is really just eumelanin, which as I've said to you, eumelanin is really an advantageous molecule that we have for its various purposes, right? The other thing that melanin does is it's very protective. It is not only protective of just your skin, i.e. we can go out in the sun and enjoy. And all that happens to us, we get darker and darker. We produce more and more melanin because of its protective properties. But also, you know, as we get darker and darker, we are also now able to connect better with the cosmos, because the more melanin we have, right, the easier it is for us to connect with the cosmos, which is why we do this thing we call sun gazing, where you go out in the sun, especially in the morning, say around 6 in the summer. Right now, if you're in the West, forget about it, except if you're in the South somewhere up in Florida and you've got some sun. Where I am, there is no sun to speak of, so I can gaze at the clouds all I like, whatever. But the sun's rays have a way of stimulating the melanin producing centers, these melanin producing centers in the brain, which again causes more melanin in the brain to be produced, which increases my cosmic connection. Does that make sense? So we are able to do that. People with pheomelanin, and they'll tell you themselves, they cannot stare into the sun. They cannot stare into the sun for too long. It will damage the sun the same way as the sun will damage their skin if they stay out there too long. So for us, staying out in the sun just means the production of more eumelanin. But if you notice, those who don't have eumelanin, when they stay out in the sun, what happens? They may go a certain shade of tan and then they start to burn. Their skin starts to fry because they don't have the protective properties that eumelanin affords us. So their pheomelanin cannot protect them from that horrible, for them, for us, advantageous burning sun, right? And another tip I'm going to give people is, in this current age and era we're in, you do yourselves a favor to get as much sunlight as is possible. You do yourselves a great favor because you need that cosmic connection more than you've ever needed it before, number one. Number two, you need to sit out in the sun, and the more, if it gets uncomfortable, stay out there, because the reason it's so uncomfortable is because we have accumulated so many toxins in our bloodstream, and detoxing is going to assist you to be able to tolerate the sun. Over the next 5 years, it's going to get hotter and hotter. And melanated beings, if you know what time it is, you know what time it is. You guys stay out there. Get sun-kissed, okay? Let Ra just bask. Ra will not annihilate you. Your Ra is not here to annihilate you. However, if your body is full of toxins, it's going to feel that way. So detoxing your body is actually very, very important, right? That will assist you to connect with the sun and to ensure that you are at maximum melanin production. I hope this makes sense. Now, here are some things. You need to know that your diet also affects the amount of melanin that your body is making. you need to consume a diet that is beneficial to you, that allows your body to be able to create melanin. Vitamin C is extremely important for the production of melanin, right? Leafy green vegetables are vital, because I did in the first video the comparison between chlorophyll and melanin, and you guys saw that it, in so many ways, it was pretty much the same molecule, right? You need to eat, even if you're plant-based, you need to eat protein-rich foods that are high in a protein called tyrosine. Tyrosine is not a protein, sorry, it's an amino acid. So when you consume protein, that tyrosine, when protein gets broken down, is one of the amino acids that you're going to need in the production of melanin. Tyrosine is worked upon by certain enzymes, and there are certain processes. I'm going to put a slide here for you guys so that you see how the process works. So tyrosine is then converted to something called dopaquinone, and dopaquinone is what is then worked on by other enzymes to produce eumelanin. It is also at this point, so from tyrosine to dopaquinone is one process. Then those who are genetically engineered to produce eumelanin, that dopaquinone is worked on by certain enzymes to produce eumelanin. In those who are not, that dopaquinone is worked on by different enzymes to produce pheomelanin. That is where the genetics comes into it. So are you genetically predisposed to create eumelanin, or are you genetically created to produce pheomelanin? And pheomelanin and its entire phenotype. What is a phenotype is what is outwardly expressed by genetics. So the pheomelanin phenotype is that straight, straggly hair, is the various colored eyes, blue, green, whatever eyes. It is the pale, very pale skin that doesn't go any darker than beyond maybe a tan, after which that skin starts to burn in the sun. Like I've said to you, they will tell you that their eyes are very weak, whereas we have eyes that can take in the whole spectrum. That's why we can look at the sun and sun gaze and be okay. And the more often you do it, the more your eyes are able to tolerate. Your eyes will not get damaged. However, those with pheomelanin suffer retinal damage. The retina is on the inside of the eye from staring at the sun for too long. So I think that I will kind of stop there with the topic, because like I said, it's kind of science heavy. I'm going to put a whole bunch of pictures in there. Why am I doing this series, you might ask? I think that it is time we educate ourselves about ourselves. I think that knowledge is power, and I think that the way that I'm going to teach this is I will teach the science, but also show you guys the cosmic or spiritual connection, because really that is African philosophy. African philosophy was never about compartmentalizing things. So in all of this, you guys have got a little bit of spiritual science, you've got a little bit of biochemistry, you got a little bit of even molecular biology. Right? So, but it's all one comprehensive thing, because as a human being or a spirit having a human experience, you're not compartmentalized into these different things. You are a whole being and you function as a whole. So hopefully as I teach this series, you're able to see that comprehensive picture of how you have come to be who and what you are in this realm at this time. So I hope this has been useful. I'm going to, like I said, edit it and post it on YouTube. So you guys can, if you're not following, please go like, subscribe, share. Yeah, let's learn together, and let's spread this knowledge to as many people as is possible. On that note, I hope you enjoyed this. Masithokozeni, and see you on the next one. Thokozani.